What's happening, everyone? I'm James Lynch, and this is Early Look, the show where I take a look at an upcoming notable fight. And on today's edition, I'm going to be previewing the December 17th lightweight fight on the main card, Arman Tsarukyan, Damir Ismagulov. But before I give you my preview and pick, I got to get you to hit that like button. I got to get you to hit that subscribe button, and I have to get you to hit that notification bell. Those things really do help out this channel a lot. Takes 2 seconds. If you could do that, it would be greatly appreciated here. Let's get into this fight, not wasting any time. UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus Strickland. If you've never watched the show before, basically I go through a bunch of different stats, intangibles, and then I give you my preview and pick at the end. You can take it or leave it. More than happy to discuss this fight after I give you my pick and everything else. So again, looking here, quick tail of the tape here, you can see Arman Tsarukyan, Damir Ismagulov, Arman 26, Damir 31, 5'7" to 5'10", 72.5 to 74. So Damir older and going to be a little bit bigger in this fight. This is only a 3-round lightweight fight. I wish it was 5. This is the exact type of fight that I think should be headlining fight night cards, but what are you going to do? We get 3 rounds instead. Let's start with Arman Tsarukyan, the younger fighter, shall we? Arman, you can see there is 18-3. He's got 7 knockouts, 5 submissions, and 6 decisions in his career. He's the number 9 ranked lightweight. He is 26 years old. He is 5'7" with a 72.5 inch reach. Like I mentioned, the only advantage Arman has on paper in this fight is the fact that he's 5 years younger. So that's got to count for something. Arman is also a master of sport MMA and master of sport wrestling. He's also got fight of the night honors 2 times against Islam Makhachev and Mateusz Gamrot. He's also got performance of the night bonus 2 times against Christos Giagos and Joel Alvarez. Arman's one of these fighters that has sort of a weird thing on his record, which is if you look at his first amateur fight, according to Tapology, it took place October 2015, but then you see his pro debut took place in September of 2015. Don't know what that's all about, but regardless, we'll just say that he made his pro debut here in September of 2015. We'll just stick with that, and that was a fight that he ended up winning by first round knockout. Did not make his UFC debut until April of 2019. I mentioned it there. It was a short notice fight against Islam Makhachev, and considering what Islam's done since then, that's not a bad loss to have in the resume, especially considering he went the distance in that fight. I think it gave us a good glimpse into the future of Arman Tsarukyan. That fight was back in 2019. He's been on a roll since then. You can see there, Arman has a 5-2 UFC record. He's got 2 stoppage victories over Christos Giagos and Joel Alvarez. Some notable wins. His only notable win so far has been Joel Alvarez, someone who's sort of been in and out of the rankings. Davey Ramos was a good win at the time. He was 10-3, but again, not notable in terms of the rankings. And then his 2 notable losses are against Islam Makhachev, Mateusz Gamrot. I mean, just to show you how good Arman is, his 2 losses are against top 5 guys. I think Gamrot's out of the top 5 now, but he's right in the mix there as far as I'm concerned. So not bad losses to have on the resume. And we'll talk about the Gamrot fight in a sec, because that was a very close fight on the judges' scorecards. Arman's been pretty active since coming over to the UFC in 2019. You'll see he fights about twice a year. The only layoff he had was going from the Olivier Aubin-Mercier fight to Davey Ramos. There was a 357-day layoff in that one. That was probably due to COVID, due to visa issues, but it was not an issue. Well, you can see their event canceled due to coronavirus. So I think it just took him a bit. There's a lot of fighters overseas that had a hard time booking a fight because of what was going on with COVID. So just something to keep that in mind. Another thing with Arman is that he's a guy that does not have a lot of injuries or any USADA issues. Like I said, pretty active throughout his entire career. Close fights. He's only had 1. He's a couple decision wins here, but they were more decisive. Obviously, clearly beat Frevola, clearly beat Ramos. But the Mateusz Gamrot fight, that was an interesting one. So I remember watching that at the time thinking Arman won. I have yet to rewatch it, but I remember thinking really, really, really close fight. Didn't have an issue with the decision. But I did feel like Arman did enough to win. I went back and looked at the media scorecards for that one. That was earlier this year in June at UFC Fight Night. 15 media members scoring the fight for Arman, 7 scoring it for Gamrot. And obviously, huge implications on the division for what happened there, because with that win, Gamrot was able to go on and fight Beneil Dariush, and of course Dariush beat him, and now Dariush likely going to fight the winner of Alex Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev when they fight in February. But that could have been Arman, right? I mean, it's just crazy to think a fight that close, the judging, how it can really impact someone's career here. So even though he lost, it was a very good fight, very close fight. I think this fight also does not get enough credit for being one of the fights of the year. The scrambles, the action in that fight, unbelievable. Love that fight so much. It's one of my favorite fights. And you can see here, even on Tapology, they have it as one of the best fights of the year and one of the greatest lightweight fights of all time. I'm on board with both of that. I think that's incredible. So yeah, that is Arman Tsarukyan. Again, really big fight for him here. He doesn't want to lose 2 in a row here. He's got to go out there and perform well. And to be honest, this is a very dangerous fight for him. Damir is one of these guys that, yes, he's ranked a little bit lower, but he is very dangerous. He's only got 1 loss in his career, and we'll talk about him right now. Let's get into him. Let's talk about it. So let's check out Ismagulov. Like I mentioned there, 24-1 record. He's got 7 knockouts, 5 submissions, and 8 decisions in his career. He's the number 12 ranked lightweight. He is 31 years old. He's 5'10" with a 74-inch reach, so he'll have a 3-inch height and 1.5-inch reach advantage. Probably most known for being the former M1 Global Lightweight Champion. He's also a master of sport in Army hand-to-hand combat. So if this guy, if anyone's going to rob this guy, he's probably going to take you out because he knows what he's doing there. So that's pretty notable as far as what he's got done. If you look at it here, Damir made his amateur debut back in April of 2014. Looks like he made his pro debut back in, see again, same thing here. You've got amateur fights here in 2014, 2015, and then you got him making his pro debut in October. Let's just stick with the fact that he made his pro debut in October of 2014. We'll stick with that. A little bit confusing, but like I said, it doesn't have a huge impact on this breakdown, so to speak. Made his UFC debut in December of 2018, so not much earlier than Arman Tsarukyan, and he fought Alex Gorges in that fight. He was undefeated at the time, got a decision in that one. Damir is, as you can see on his resume here, he's undefeated in the UFC. He doesn't have a single stoppage win, though. So he's got wins over Gorges, Alvarez, Moises. So common opponent there in Joel Alvarez. Arman finishing him. Damir taking him to a decision. Thiago Moises got a win there, and Rafael Alves was a good win, and Goram was a very good win too. We'll talk about that fight. You can see split decision. We'll talk about the media scorecards on that one. That was a very close fight. Some notable wins. I kind of just mentioned them there. Joel Alvarez, again, probably pretty notable. Thiago Moises is a guy I wanted to include on here because Thiago's a guy that sort of been hovering around the rankings a little bit, so I would include him there too. And Goram, that was a good win, but like I said, extremely close fight. We might as well talk about it. UFC on ESPN 37 back in June. 4 media members scoring the fight for Damir, 11 scoring it for Goram in that fight. So again, this might be a fight that he doesn't end up getting if he ends up losing that fight, but here we are talking about a fight with him and Arman Tsarukyan. So there we go. Again, some people felt like Goram did enough to win that fight. The only thing that I wanted to mention as well about him, he hasn't had any injuries that have taken him out of any fights, but if you look at the Mustafayev fight, I forgot about this. This was back at UFC 267 in October of last year. Ismagulov missed weight. Got to mention that. I don't think it'll be a factor here. He didn't miss weight in his last fight, but again, that canceled that fight. So just one little note there. Supposed to fight Mustafayev, doesn't end up happening because he ended up missing weight for that one. Okay. I know, again, we don't have a ton to talk about with either of these guys just because they don't have a ton of UFC experience, like I mentioned. But let's get to the pick and everything else. So the odds right now have Arman Tsarukyan as a slight favorite at minus, well, I shouldn't say slight favorite. He's almost a 2-1 favorite here. 2-1. See here, minus 200, minus 160. This is a very tricky fight, okay? Look, first glance at this fight, you think Arman's going to win, right? Younger. I think he showed more promise. You even look at who he's fought. Like I mentioned, those losses to Islam and Gamrot, close fights. I mean, the Islam fight, way more decisive. I don't think anyone thought that Arman won that fight, but the Gamrot fight, I think you could make that argument that he beat Gamrot, and Gamrot to me is the bar. He's that bar into, if you can beat him, you're a top 5 guy, so to speak. So I kind of put him very highly. Now, Damir maybe hasn't fought the same competition, but that win over Goram, whether you thought he won or not, still very impressive. The fact that he was able to even get a win there. Goram's another guy that I think is ranked not in the right spot. Like I think Goram and Damir even could be ranked a lot higher in the weight class here. If you look at Arman, again, a lot of decisions, but he does have some really good stand-up as well. You see a lot of knockouts here on the resume. Overall, I mentioned, well, both of them do, right? Damir's got 7 knockouts. Arman has 7 as well. So, but if you look at their losses, you do see that Arman's been knocked out in his second pro fight. Islam and Gamrot were decisions. Pretty durable guy. I mean, we saw in the Gamrot fight, he did take some shots, was still able to come out on top. Damir, on the other hand, you look at him there, just the 1 loss, and it was a decision loss. So he's never been finished in this fight. So it's only 3 rounds. I still think that favors Arman just because I do think he's a bit more powerful. He's also younger, which means he's probably going to be a little bit more faster. I don't think we'll see a finish here. I think if you're going to bet this fight, I think the play here is the fight goes the distance. I think both of these guys, you know, especially Arman, he needs a win here. So I don't know if he's going to get too flashy and try and go for a quick finish. I think what's more likely is you see Damir being pretty tough, pretty durable, and going in there and surviving some early onslaught here. But I think it's going to stay standing, and I think Arman's going to end up edging this one out by decision here. Again, this is about as high level as it gets in the lightweight division. Both guys extremely durable, like I mentioned, and I just think, you know, when you have a fight this close, you got to look at like little things. And to me, it's the youth. Yes, Arman's going to be a little undersized in this fight, just a bit, not a ton, right? 5'7" to 5'10", 72.5 to 74. That's not a big discrepancy there. Another quick thing, Arman has been training at Tiger Muay Thai for this camp. That's, you know, very encouraging. So, you know, again, working on that striking here. I'll go Arman by decision, but I think it's going to be one of those things where you see Damir's face pretty beaten up by the end, but I think Arman will get more of a decisive decision in this one where you're not questioning the judges. I think he goes out there and gets it done. Again, close fight though. Wouldn't want to bet this one on either side because I think Damir is absolutely capable of winning this fight, kind of like Gamrot was in his last fight with Arman as well. So again, a bit of a shorter breakdown here today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, let me know if there's any other fights you want me to preview coming up here. More than happy to do that. We just had a bunch of feedback, and I've been starting to do some more previews for some fights that you guys want me to break down. Let me know what you think of this fight. Who do you think wins? How do you think they win? I would love to hear from you. More than happy to debate this. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I didn't. Maybe there's something you wanted me to expand on a little bit more. More than happy to discuss this fight with you. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Lynch on Sports. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Lynch on Sports. And while you're there, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I'm James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.